Thank you, Patrick. So from the older generation of the family to the young ones, his grandchildren, Bronte and Jacob, have written about their memories about spending time with their grandfather, and they've asked me to read their memories. The first one's from Bronte. My grandfather was a truly amazing man. We had some really amazing memories, and they were funny, scary and amusing. I can remember a few years back when my father and my brother and I were staying with Izzy and Lynn for a few days. We did some fun stuff that will stick in my memory forever. We got stuck on a train track because the star wagon broke down. That was freaky for a little kid like me. We also zoomed around on the electric bike, and that was funny and terrifying. Thankfully, we have so many pictures from that week because Lynn is always handy with the camera. It was a perfect weekend, one that will surely be remembered forever. Izzy really was an amazing man with his very strict diet. Whenever he came over, he always brought his own Greek yogurt and little meals, and he would whip out the portable tables at dinner. That was a classic. He definitely was a man with a lot of life experiences. My favourite memory was and always will be the kazoo. He was the best kazoo player I know, and I wanted to be just like him. We would always play some cool tunes and have fun. I enjoyed every minute I had with him. Izzy, you were definitely the best grandfather anyone could ask for, and I know everyone has many good memories with you, just like I do. You are missed so much by your family and friends. It's really hard to say goodbye. All I can say is I love you so much and always will remember you in my heart for being the crazy singer and warm-hearted grandfather. I will miss you so much. And the next tribute is from Jacob about his memories of his grandfather. He said, although I wasn't able to spend as much time with Izzy as I wanted, I will always have very strong memories that will influence me for the rest of my life. Izzy shared many of his adventures with both my sister and I. We enjoyed hearing his stories. They were always interesting and funny. Izzy always had a smile on his face whenever I look back on photos and think of the memories we made and shared. I smile to think of such an amazing person walked the face of this earth. Izzy will always have a big part of my heart. He is an inspiration to me and always will be. Thank you, Bronte and Jacob, for those lovely memories and sharing. For Lynn, the loss of her dearest companion is unimaginable. And Izzy was her, I remember when I met Izzy and I knew of him, my strong abiding recollection is that his devotion to Lynn, amongst the many, many things that he did in his life. That was really strong, and as a friend, it was really clear to me. And it was really clear that he was a really central part of her family. He played a huge role in her family, and I'd like to ask Lynn's brother John now to read tributes from Lynn's daughter Katie and from Lynn. Thank you.
Thanks. Hi, Katie and Lynn have both asked me to read on their behalf. I hope you can picture them when I'm sort of reading out their words. So, first of all, from Katie. A few sentences just can't do justice to the impact Izzy had on our family. He took us in with the open arms, and the bond between my children and Izzy was something special. He showed them both so much love. Safi absolutely adored her Izzy. All she had to do was ask, and Izzy would be all too happy to oblige. Izzy would do things like give Safi her own basket at the supermarket and let her fill it with whatever she wanted. He would make her hamburgers talk, play crazy imaginary games with her, show up on Halloween dressed up with bags full of paraphernalia. So much fun. Most of all, he was loving, caring, encouraging, and interested in her and whatever new things she was into that week. It's a pretty hard act to follow. I feel so lucky that his last day was spent with us. It was just one of our usual trips to North Beach shop for lunch. But you really couldn't have asked for a more perfect day, and there should have been many more. Somehow we have to create a new reality without him, but he will always be in our hearts and thoughts. We will keep you close to us. For my mum, who has lost her soulmate, and the man who really did bring so much colour into her life, it's going to be really hard, but we will be with you. We are all in shock and are devastated by the loss of such an amazingly loving, fun, creative, kind and generous man who would go to the ends of the earth for you if he could. This tribute is from Lynn, and I just want to briefly say the difference Izzy made to her life. He really was the best thing that ever happened to her in her reasonably long life. And on behalf of the extended family, we all will miss him, but we're really grateful for the difference he's made to the lives of our whole family. So this is from Lynn, and again, I don't know if you can picture this. Someone said last night we look like twins. I don't see it myself, but try and picture me with really long grey hair. And I'm writing this in the early hours of the morning, way before I usually wake up, and I find myself alone for the first time in over 7 years. Izzy, as I always knew him, came into my world when we were in our late 50s. Once a fortnight he came to play music at a small blues club in a valley on the Tweed. And once a fortnight I would take myself home to my cottage on the hill and write blistering articles on a blog about the dreadful sound of the kazoo. I wrote as Billy Blue and he thought I was a man. He took up the challenge and began to try to convince me, online, as one man to another, that there was more to the kazoo than I knew. It turned out that there was more to the kazoo player than I knew, a lot more. He drove up to my cottage in his renowned Star Wagon to have a wee word with me, and within weeks we were living together and loving it. He was, as the song says, my poetry man. He made my dreams come alive. It has been the best of adventures living with this complex man. We have loved and laughed and explored and studied. I have tried to fight, which is what I do best, but he always looked at me, backed off, made a cuppa and then said, "Shall we go out for dinner, my lady?" That's the only name he ever called me, my lady. Izzy has taken care of me through long periods of illness. And physically, our adventures took us only from the edge of Queensland to the tip of Victoria, and yet the adventure of living with him was like circling the world 100 times. He made my dreams come alive. I'm not going to try to be polite and get this right. I will simply say that his steady, unwavering love for me and my children and grandchildren is something I haven't known since my own childhood. Eccentric, patient, obsessive, with his funny face and his beautiful voice, a builder of dreams. Each morning he ran out of our property and along the bush roads into the forest. Last Saturday we had plans and he left early while I was sleeping. I woke and waited for him to come home and have a cuppa, but he didn't come home. The police came and took me to the little grassy spot in the trees where he did his Buddhist exercises each morning, and for me that is where he's resting forever. Resting is a bloody silly word to use, is he didn't rest. He was always up to something. He will be up on that last steep hill in the rainforest, planning plans and watching over the rest of us down here. My heart breaks for me and for my girls and my boy. What wonderful times we have had. It aches for his loved ones and all the work we had planned, which has left unfinished. These words from Van Batten came during the week and fit his place in Bongle Bongle perfectly. He appeared in my life as some kind of sage or wizard, a Gandalf or Merlin, grey-bearded, wise to the world, stepping out from the edge of a grey forest at a crossroads and smiling, nudging me gently towards my true way. Now Julie is going to play a piece called Timeless.